My passion for soccer runs deep, and my respect for the team behind FIFA is just as deep. When I play the game, I can only think about what the development team behind the game are doing to make the FIFA I love even better.
This is the future of football that our fans have dreamed of, coming this fall on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
FIFA obviously is one of the most popular sports games on all the different consoles, but now EA wanted to bring the same experience to the mobile platform for iOS tablets and Android tablets as well.
And the game award goes to, oh man, I have to pay a microtransaction to unlock. That's so stupid that this has to, hold on, I got this, guys, here we go.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
We can all assume that we won't be getting FIFA 24. However, that does not mean that EA is going to stop coming up with another football game with another name in front of the box. FIFA is one of the longest running franchises in video game history. In fact, it is older than 1/3 of the world's population. You would think that a franchise has to be crazy innovative to come up with a game every year and manage to make adequate sales. Well, over the years, words like innovation and consumer friendly distanced themselves from EA. But maybe we'll get back to that later in this video. This video is to showcase the history of FIFA, not its rise and fall. So let's get started perhaps.
Planet Earth, a scientist creates the ultimate machine.
At last!
A machine that will give him the power to journey into the mega world. With thousands of colors, 16-bit graphic technology, and 10-channel mega stereo sound. The most advanced video game system in the universe.
Yes!
Mega Drive from Sega.
Like every decade, the 90s had a marked innovation in terms of graphics and gameplay mechanics, and it was the third decade of video gaming itself. Handheld consoles were a major deal. Game Boy Advance and arcade gaming were in demand. Just years into the decade, the industry saw a major shift from cartridges to compact discs. The fifth generation of consoles, including PlayStation and Saturn, adopted this new change. However, Nintendo stayed with the cartridges. Though this was the point where the great format war began, I think we have to go 1 year prior to this, in 1993, when the first installment of FIFA was released. FIFA International Soccer, also known as FIFA 94, was released for Sega Mega Drive. And right off the bat, the game was praised for delivering a new take on a video game based on football. Before FIFA 94, many of the other developers published a less polished tabletop experience that just didn't fit right with the action and thrill that a football game should provide. And that is why EA's isometric approach came in handy. What many thought would be uncomfortable for the players ended up being its standout and best-selling feature. Mark Haddad of Game Bytes magazine, who tested the game on an IBM PC with 8 MB RAM, wrote, "For what it lacks in realism, it more than makes up for in innovation and ease of play." As a video game connoisseur myself, I can admit that sometimes I like to play games that don't require me to read a book or look up 100 hours of video content on YouTube just to complete a fucking stage. But FIFA takes it one step further. There are no unnecessary combos. The game is accurately optimized for a controller or a keyboard, and even your cousin, who has never played this game before in his life, has about 33% chance of beating your ass. FIFA has always been praised for its leveling playstyle. Only the skills ensured the win. And I know it might be hard to digest for a modern FIFA player, but that was the case in the early 2000s. With ease of play and groundbreaking interface, the franchise set out to create a legacy for itself, only to become a franchise with 325 million copies sold worldwide till date. First of all, I would like to mention that it was really hard for me to find a good article to refer to for this video, I mean, I did see a couple of reviews of FIFA games from the early 2000s, but in all of them they mentioned football fans as soccer fans. So I'm not taking their argument into consideration. However, this does tell us that a majority of EA's audience was in the US at that time, hence the use of the term soccer. With the start of the new millennium, EA decided to revamp the engine and continue with the process of slowly developing the final project with every annual edition, just like they did before. FIFA 01 introduced detailed and unique faces for the players. FIFA 02 introduced power bar for passes and shots. In FIFA 03, new modes of gameplay were added. And by the time FIFA 04 came around, the franchise was hailed as the best football simulation game out there. And that was the very same year that online mode was added to the series. At that time, they scored double sales compared to their competition Pro Evolution Soccer 3, which at that time was building up its own audience. Once again, the ease of play factor had a major role in this since FIFA made everyone feel like a gaming god. The first half of the decade went smoothly for FIFA as they expanded upon the previous installments and continued to grow their sales as well as build a worldwide audience. However, in FIFA 06 and 07, they added a new mode called the Ultimate Team, where the players can create their own team and play matches with other players on a similar skill level. Some fans speculated that this move was not profitable for EA, and that is why it was excluded from the next installment of the game. But then, in FIFA 09, they brought back the Ultimate Team with a new element called packs that can help you secure players for your team. And in order to buy the packs, you need to have sufficient points. And if you don't have the sufficient points, you can just purchase the points and then buy the packs. This was the first time that a microtransaction appeared in a FIFA game. This project was overseen by then executive producer Andrew Wilson, who would later go on to become the CEO of the company. Because of this, EA received a lot of backlash since the mechanism of buying a pack very closely resembled gambling. This is because you don't get to see the player that you are going to get until you buy it. Thus, there is an element of risk involved. After FIFA 09, Ultimate Team became a fixed mode in all FIFA games. In 2013, the company was named in the list of the worst brands in the world, just 2 years after FIFA 2012 broke the sales record that any FIFA game had ever made. Even though we see more and more video game publishers coming up with ways to include microtransactions in the game, EA, thanks to its games, is referred to as the one that normalized it. I think we all remember what happened with the launch of Battlefront 2, but that is a story for some other time. With the help of these packs, the company was able to turn its most beloved and successful franchise into a cash cow. And even though the sales were gradually decreasing after 2012, the company managed to reap in more profit to keep the investors happy. The truth is that this could never be a rise and fall video since EA and its installments never fell. I still buy FIFA every year, and possibly I might buy EA Sports FC, provided that it does something good and stands for a new beginning for the franchise. With that, I would like to end this video by saying fuck EA. They got my money and they didn't give me anything in return. They just made me buy the same game again and again.